They thought it would be just another routine humiliation. Another quiet girl, another worn-out backpack, another moment to laugh, to mock, to feel powerful. But the second the medal slid out and clinked against the cold classroom floor, the room didn't just fall silent, it froze. Because everyone knew one thing about that medal: it wasn't supposed to exist anymore. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the hidden strength inside people, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Stories like this matter, and so do you. Emily Carter had always walked through life like she was apologizing for being there. At 16, she carried herself with a quiet heaviness, her shoulders slightly hunched as if trying to shrink away from the world. Her clothes were always clean but faded, her shoes slightly worn at the edges, and her backpack, old, patched, and carefully stitched in places, was something the other students noticed long before they noticed her. No one ever really asked about Emily. She was just there. The girl who sat in the back. The girl who never raised her hand. The girl who flinched slightly when someone laughed too loudly behind her. But what no one saw was the way she woke up before sunrise every morning, the way she quietly prepared breakfast for her younger brother, or how she checked on her mother, who hadn't left her bed in months. They didn't see the hospital bills stacked in a drawer, or the part-time job she worked in the evenings, wiping tables and smiling at strangers while hiding her exhaustion. And they definitely didn't know about the medal. It happened on a gray Tuesday morning, the kind of day where everything feels heavier than usual. The classroom buzzed with low chatter as students waited for their teacher. That's when Jason Miller, the kind of boy who built his confidence on breaking others, noticed Emily's backpack sitting unattended on her desk. There was a smirk, a glance exchanged with his friends. And then, casually, like it meant nothing, he walked over and unzipped it. What started as a joke quickly turned into a spectacle. Books were pulled out, papers scattered, a worn notebook, a lunch wrapped in foil, a small, folded photograph. Then the medal. It slipped out last, as if it had been hiding. It hit the floor with a soft metallic sound that somehow echoed louder than everything else. At first, no one reacted. Jason bent down, picking it up between his fingers, ready to mock it like everything else. But the moment his eyes focused on it, something shifted. His smirk faded. His grip tightened slightly. Because this wasn't just any medal. It was old, but not worn. Polished, as if someone had taken care of it with deep respect. At the center was an insignia, one that belonged to a military unit long disbanded. Around it were engraved words that made no sense. Valor beyond life. Jason's confusion spread to the others as he turned it over. There was a name etched into the back. Daniel Carter. The room grew quieter. Someone whispered that the medal looked real. Someone else said it couldn't be. Because everyone knew that medals like that, if they were what they seemed, were either locked away in museums, or buried with the dead. And Daniel Carter, that name rang faintly in the back of a few minds. Not from class, not from school, but from somewhere older, somewhere heavier. Emily walked in at that exact moment. She stopped. Her eyes didn't go to the mess on her desk first. They went straight to the medal in Jason's hand. And for the first time, something in her broke through the quiet. Not anger, not fear, panic. She rushed forward, faster than anyone had ever seen her move, her hands trembling as she reached for it. Jason didn't resist. He handed it over almost instinctively, as if it suddenly didn't belong to him, or anyone in that room. Emily clutched it tightly, like it was something alive, something fragile. And that's when the teacher walked in. The room tried to return to normal, but something had shifted. The laughter was gone. The whispers had changed tone. Curiosity replaced cruelty, and unease settled in like a quiet storm. Later that day, the story began to spread. A teacher who had once served in the military caught a glimpse of the medal. His face changed instantly. He asked Emily where she got it, his voice unusually serious. She hesitated. For a moment, it looked like she might say nothing. Like always. But then she spoke. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough for the truth to exist. Daniel Carter was her father. The room didn't react immediately. It took a second for the weight of that statement to settle. Because Daniel Carter wasn't just a name. He had been declared missing in action nearly 15 years ago. Presumed dead. And the medal, the one Emily held, was rumored to have been awarded posthumously under classified circumstances. A medal that had never been officially recorded. A medal that, according to most, had been lost with him. But Emily's voice, though soft, carried something stronger than certainty. She explained how her father had been part of a mission that went wrong. How his name had faded from headlines. How her mother had waited for years, holding on to hope long after everyone else had let go. And then, one day, a package arrived. No return address. No explanation. Just the medal. And a note that said, "He made it further than anyone knows." That was all. No one laughed after that. Not Jason. Not his friends. Not anyone. Because suddenly, the girl with the worn backpack wasn't invisible anymore. She was carrying something none of them could understand. Something heavier than their jokes. Stronger than their cruelty. The days that followed were different. Subtle at first. A seat saved for her. A quiet apology left unspoken but felt. Jason himself stopped making noise when she walked by. Once, he even picked up a book she dropped and handed it to her without a word, his eyes unable to meet hers. But the real change wasn't in them. It was in Emily. She still moved quietly. Still spoke softly. But something had shifted. The weight she carried no longer seemed like something to hide. It looked like strength. Because that medal wasn't just proof of her father's past. It was proof that even in silence, even in absence, even in a world that forgets, courage leaves a mark. And sometimes, it survives in the most unexpected places. Before this story ends, take a moment, just one, and comment something meaningful. A word, a thought, or even a simple heart. Because someone out there might need to read it today more than you realize. Years later, people would remember that moment in the classroom. Not because of the bullying. Not because of the silence. But because it was the day they realized they had misjudged someone completely. The day they learned that the quietest person in the room might be carrying the loudest story. And the day a medal that wasn't supposed to exist reminded everyone that truth, like courage, doesn't disappear, it waits to be seen. If this story touched your heart, don't scroll away silently. Like the video, share it with someone who needs a reminder of kindness, and subscribe for more stories that matter. Because sometimes, the smallest act of empathy can change someone's entire world.